Hey guys, welcome back to the channel today. Just out tinkering on my house a little bit, and I did put another microphone on here, so we'll see if that makes any difference in the audio quality. I wanted to talk for a few minutes about the Carvex. I've had this for about 3 years, and it mainly comes out when I have things that have to be right the first time that have to do with the jigsaw. I do have a DeWalt 20 volt on the truck. That's why I went with a corded one of these, because most of the time I ended up using this with my shielded hose that has the wire run in it for the tools on my MIDI vac with this. So if I'm in somebody's house and I'm actually worried about dust collection on a jigsaw, which isn't often, then I use this. As well as when I have more complicated things to do, which is why I have the accessory set to go with this. You wouldn't need the whole accessory set. There's a lot of this that I don't use. I do keep a big stock of blades. That's one of the things I really like about these. They actually sell some very nice blades. Very long and very thick. They are some rigid, very sharp blades. These are the 105/4, I assume 105 millimeter. Yes, 105 millimeter, which is 4 1/8 inches long. This will cut through almost through a 4x4 with that blade there. The S75 4s, I really like those as well. And of course, I've got the S75 4 FSGs. Then there's just a lot. They have scrolling blades like this, if you can actually see that in the light. I'm not sure. They're, well, if you look them up, they're S50, and they have a even tooth straight out the front, so they're not cutting on an up. They're cutting both up and down stroke, so you don't have that aggressive ripping action up like you get on some of the more aggressive blades. They also have, of course, bimetal, which are HS60s. Just, their blades are phenomenal, and they're all a T-shank blade. So all I buy now are either Bosch or Festool blades. The Festool blades for wood, I haven't found a Bosch I like as well, but they are close. I really hate my DeWalt jigsaw, like unbelievably, enough that I'd almost get me a battery Carvex also for that. I thought about just getting a battery, maybe get a try-on or something. I don't know if they have that in battery or not, but I do love this jigsaw. The blade guides are what everybody whines about on these, and they've just not been the problem for me that they are for a lot of people, I guess. I'll go ahead and plug this in so I can show off a few little things that it does. The one thing that I would advise getting that set for is this shoe right here that they make for it. This thing is so solid made, it's just impressive. The gear drive systems in that, it's an impressive little attachment for a jigsaw. I used it on the on that spiral staircase build. I'm not sure if I'll know right where to drop this. Maybe I will, but maybe I put a card up here in the top corner for the link to that spiral staircase build that I did a while back. I used this to accomplish, it was an off-axis spiral staircase. So we had not only, you know, the post coming up the center, we had to not only match the angle that the post was here, we also had to match it in 2 dimensions, because the post for the staircase is off axis like this. And then of course it's spiral, so every board connection is different, and every angle and bevel is different because they're going around a tilting pole. Anyway, things like that are where this type of tool excels. If all you're doing is jumping up and cutting holes in soffit for vents, little things like that, chopping out a hole in the bottom of a cabinet or something, probably not an investment that you just have to make. But there is another attachment in here, and that's the circle cutting jig. This You can release this and pull it out. Has the measurements right on it. Has the drop pin here where you can drop this pin in right there. Drill your hole in the center, and there's a plate in here for this jigsaw that will clip right onto this, and your jigsaw will ride a perfect circle at the exact diameter that you need. So if you were maybe cutting out a round sink in a butcher block countertop, or putting radius edges on a butcher block, or anything really that this would cut, even Formica, MDF, whatever, on that kind of thing, this is very valuable. I love this little tool right here. I do keep this stuff pretty clean, but it's fairly finely done stuff. I'm not sure if everything in here actually came in this kit, but it comes with a stack of bases for this saw. All kinds. There's little waffled bases with bumps. There's phenolic bases. There's even a metal base for if you're cutting metal with it, like sheet metal. Yeah, there's a phenolic base, so you have that real slick, hard surface there. And then there is a Velcro base that you can actually put these pads on. You can get the pads in a multi-pack. If you're cutting a material where the actual jigsaw sliding on the surface could scratch it, you can put this on the bottom of the jigsaw and be sliding on felt. But these are just things that you don't see in many other people's jigsaws. I don't know if any are like that. But you'd have to get this set up to be able to do all of these things, or buy them separately. There is dust collection on this jigsaw also. And it's pretty good from the top. Anything from the bottom, obviously, you're not going to get that great. It's got it right here behind the blade. So it will keep a pretty clean line if you're doing that. But to me, one of the coolest things about this, when you're working on a really fine-tuned job where you have to make a perfect cut every time, the strobe light system. It has a multi-LED system up here in the top that flash synchronized with the blade. You can turn that off if it just drives you batty. But for me, it's amazing. You can run this full speed and the blade actually look like it's standing still. You can see every tooth on the blade. So following a line is ridiculously easy. You can see that blade like it's just stopped and you're just pushing it through the wood. That just blew me away when I got to do that the first time. But there is, let's see, you pull that right there and that drops your base off, your little side-on clips. They make the Collins coping foot for this. I don't have it in here right now, but you can snap a coping foot on here for cutting, coping in your crown, coping your baseboards, things like that. As well as in these bases, there's zero clearance inserts. And they come in here. There's a slot for four spares in your box. So you can also have almost perfect cuts because you have a zero clearance on your jigsaw. I don't know of any other ones that have that either. But to me, that's impressive. And these clip on just really easy. Base is back on. Some of the only really odd things about this are none of these bases actually tilt. So if you want a tilting base, you do have to switch to this fancier base here. And it just clips right in here also, just like that. And now you have the double tilting shoe. And all you do is turn this. Let's see if I can line that up in front of that sheetrock where you can see it. You turn this and it will tilt both of those shoes to whatever angle you want to be cutting at. Just right on down to, I believe, greater than a 45. It'll go pretty far. Let's see exactly. Yeah, right to there. Look at that. So if you're making a cut now, you can come in here just like this and make your cut. As well as you can just flip it and you can make that cut the other direction. Both sides work. And you can see that blade the whole time very easily thanks to the strobe system on here. So I know there are a lot of Carvex haters out there, But this tool seriously has a lot of cool features. And the attachments are just very well made. Maybe if I'd had more of the problems everybody else had, I'd be a little less in love with it. But the blade changing system, you push this forward here on the side and it'll fly right out. What most people complain about are they have carbide guides on this blade right here that they ride between. And to me, the only time you actually have problem is if you over tighten those guides. And then you'll get the sparking because you're actually guiding the blade with carbide guides. The benefit to that is when you're making really tight cuts in hardwoods and things like that, you have carbide guiding that blade. And they, along with these heavy, stiff blades that Festool sells, the blades just don't deflect. You can be cutting a 4x4 and cut in 8-quarter material, 10-quarter, 12-quarter. You can be cutting in that and actually cut things out like corbels and the ends for pergolas, stuff like that. And it will cut the same all the way through because of those carbide guides. You try to do that with my DeWalt, and I have, even on anything thicker than 1.5 inches. And the end of that blade is everywhere because it's allowing the blade to actually twist in the guide all the time. I'll actually have the blade blow completely out of the guide. That to me is not better. But the DeWalt has a place. It's nice if you're just hacking stuff. And that's why I have it in the truck. It's nice when you need to pull it out, you need to cut 2 or 3 little pieces of 1x2 off or something like that. But anyway, let's just make a quick cut with this and kind of show you what the strobes look like. Well, if we're plugged in, I thought I had power right here. Clearly I do not for some reason. I wonder why. Or I'm on automatic, one or the other. Let's see. There we go. Now we got power. Okay. There we go. And of course you have a full speed adjustment on this from 1 through 5 and then automatic. You see that strobe right there flashing? Has the blade right through here, looks like it's completely stopped. So I'm set on automatic. Make a cut right here. Okay, now if you could tell what happened with it set on automatic, as soon, it runs at speed 1, I believe, or possibly even slower than speed 1. And as soon as the blade contacts the wood and it starts to pick up the cut, it accelerates it as needed for the wood you're headed into. So it will be as aggressive as it needs to be to cut that wood perfectly. So there you go. That's just cutting a 1x2. But if you need to cut your angles and everything, same story. You have a blade look that's almost stopped. It's beautiful. Let me see. Also, on your cord, it has a swivel up deal for the cord on the rear. So if you have the corded version and you need to get in a tighter spot, you can just flip this cord straight up and get right in there. But as far as I'm concerned, this is not a bad tool at all. I do keep pencil sharpener in here because it's really nice when you're drawing your circles and things with this that you need a pencil all the time with a jigsaw. It does come with the little click-in attachment for the CMS table, but I don't think they make that anymore actually. And it comes with a rail-guided base plate. So if you kick off this plate here that we're playing with, that fancy one, you can click on a rail-guided jigsaw base plate right there. And it has a rail guide on both sides, and I'm sure this works with other manufacturers' rails if they have a similar dimple. But this will ride right on the Festool track. So you can actually have a track-guided jigsaw if you need that. But anyway, that's a little bit of my thoughts on this Carvex deal. I know a lot of people have a little bit of controversy over it, but to me, this is a very handy tool, and I actually would buy another one if this died. I believe I'm still under warranty maybe, but I'm right at the end of mine probably. It mainly comes out, like I said, for fancier jobs. I'm not using this just hacking around. If I had a battery version, I would. Everybody knows I use the snot out of my tools. They're not to be babied at all. But dust collection's on the base that comes with it, and I believe you can push the button and pull the dust collection out if you don't need it on there, or if the butt end of that's in your way. Plates will also change out right on the bottom of this if you need to put a new plate on the bottom of the shoe. These other ones like this, the phenolics and whatnot, they snap right in here. You can just snap them right on the factory plate. They don't require any additional changes than that. And then I believe all of those, the phenolic, the ones with the bumps, the felt, all those are able to accept the zero clearance inserts as well. So if that's something you need, and to me the zero clearance, I almost always need it. You do need a new zero clearance. If you care about tear out, you need a new one every single time that you change blades, because over time you wear that zero clearance out. It's just the way things are. With a jigsaw, you're turning, you're twisting all the time, and that blade deviates any at all, and it will cut that hole out a little bigger in your zero clearance. So to change those, all you have to do is pull them out of this plate, and when you put your new blade in, you pop in your brand new zero clearance insert with the points forward, and it'll be right here with the blade behind it. Then start your jigsaw on high, and then just press that into a table, and it will cut you a perfect zero clearance insert. So you'll want to keep an extra pack of those around for when you want a new one. If you're just messing around, you're really not that worried about chip out or whatever, then it's not a big deal. But generally for me, when this saw comes out, I really do care about what I'm getting finish wise. And so if you can have zero clearance cut with a jigsaw after you've done all your cuts with your track saw, it just lets you finish that last curve, that last edge perfectly, and you don't have to worry about it just ripping, tearing grain out back into the project, things like that. Just really annoying when that happens. The jigsaws also come with the new vacuum end, so if you need to change the end out on your hose to the more modern style that actually twist locks onto the dust collector deal, then it'll have that in with the jigsaw. But anyway, that's the Festool Carvex, let's see, PS420 EBQ Plus. And that is the set that's the ZH Sys PS420F. I don't know if anything's changed on these since I've had them, but I doubt it. Great little setup if you need a high performance jigsaw. Some people do prefer the Maffel. I believe Maffel is how you actually say it. Mayfeld, whatever. It is a nice jigsaw. It's very heavy though. I've messed with one of those a little bit, and they don't make a battery version of it at all. So you just have to decide what's more important to you there. It is more expensive than the Festool version, but I don't have any experience with that, so look for a video on that from somebody else. I'm happy with this. I'm going to stick with this. DeWalt did come out with a barrel grip. They do have this in a D handle also, but for me, if you're actually doing quality work, that D handle is seriously in the way a lot of times. In personal preference, it's the same saw really, but this is just a better design to me. The Bosch also makes one that's a barrel grip also, and DeWalt this year has one. I haven't got to play with that yet, but it might be an alternative. But if they still have those same guides on that DeWalt, I am not sold on the 20 volt one that I have. And I use a jigsaw a lot, probably almost every day, and I don't like that saw at all. Just the jumping out of the guides is too annoying for me. I prefer these kind. Probably a strange thing to say for some people, but I like this. Anyway, thanks for coming by the channel. I'm sorry this turned into a long video, but there's a lot of things that go with this jigsaw. And I will be building some corbels for a mantle I have coming up pretty soon. And hopefully I can feature this saw a little bit in that. and you can get to see it do some cutting in some thicker maples and things like that. You can see how it performs. But thanks for being here. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe if this is things that you like. And give me a comment. Let me know what your favorite jigsaw is. What do you like to use, and what do you mainly use it for? Have you put a lot of miles on it to know that it does everything that you need it to do? Do you own one of these? Did you hate it? Did you love it? Let me know. I'm curious. I know what I think. So anyway, you got that. Thanks for being here. Like, share, subscribe. We'll catch you all on the next one. Thanks a lot.